What's up, guys? Looks like it's a pretty small group today. Tweet this out. You guys should probably be out voting and not watching my stream, but did you guys already vote today? What's up, Gugod? Where'd you get that name, man? You want to jump on the stream? Yeah, we have a couple projects planned for TitanX. We have one that's going to burn a lot of Tink and TitanX, and we have one that is TitanX focused. And that second one's going to be cross-chain focused. So yeah, I think after the election will be a good time. Things will probably start ripping. After the election. How you guys doing? How you guys feeling about the election? I would say that it's very, very close. I would not be surprised if Kamala Harris wins, which is pretty depressing, but it is what it is. Hope you guys can hear me okay as well. Let's see. That make it brighter. Might be easier to see me. Update on protocols building on Tink. Yeah, I'm talking to a sender. I'm pushing to make sure they use the right auditors. That's something I'm trying to communicate to different teams. I'm actually doubling back on all the teams that I've talked to make sure that before they launch they're using the correct auditors. They're not skipping on audits. That's basically the number one thing I'm impressing upon them. Unfortunately, I don't really have time to take on more builds. Otherwise, I would. But if they're using Deadrose or George, we also have a firm we use called CD Security. They're very good. And I think that if they use any of those three, then you guys should be okay. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not the total end-to-end, but like you're going to see probably really unfair elections for a long time. It's tough to tell. Because I mean, you can bust these people in from Haiti or whatever, but like, are they really going to go to the voting polls? You know, whereas if the locals are being overrun, are they really going to put up with it for another 4 years? You know, so you might be surprised. Although it is absolutely incredible that they're actually flying in people from Haiti and putting them into small towns in Pennsylvania. That is truly, that is just deeply, deeply fucked up. These people are so un-American. It's insane. They're evil. Either way, I think we definitely get a bull run. So let's be positive. We'll get at least this bull run. I was looking at the historical data for elections, and like, there's always a big run after an election. There's really no exception to that. Like going back to Clinton, there's always been a significant run. So the New York Times actually put this out. I mean, this data, it's a bit skewed because it's like that's they're trying to tell you, like, hey, don't be afraid of a Harris presidency. Vote for Harris, and the stocks will still go up. Is really what they're trying to say here. But if the data is correct, then yeah, Obama 42% rise. First term, second term 50% rise. Trump 50% rise. Biden 70% rise. That was COVID, so that was money printing. Clinton 70% rise. So we're entering a rate cut cycle. So I think we're going to be okay. We're going to make it either way. It will take a while for bad policies to trickle into our lives. Let's be honest. Like, so it's not like an immediate thing, and ultimately, I mean, ultimately, it could work out very badly for Democrats if they take over and do a bad job. You know. Let's see what we got here. Illegal immigrants voting will compound like 10 KPR. I love it. Hopefully it won't compound that fast. I'm moving out if this commie US wins. See, dude, you know what? I had the exact opposite reaction to you, which was I'm moving back to fucking do something about it. Like, if TitanX is in the billions, man, fuck it, I would run for Congress. Like, it's actually hilarious how little money you need to run for office and how easy it is to buy these politicians. You look at the donations. I mean, some of these guys run fundraisers and they raise a few $100,000 for a politician, and they get to be an ambassador to a country just by raising that money. That blows my mind. You only need a few $100K to buy an ambassador seat. Really crazy stuff. Yeah, man, corruption is real. But don't get discouraged, like I think ultimately this older generation is going to be going by the wayside, and as they do, the trust in the mainstream media will just decrease. And as that decrease in trust happens, like the dominant platform X will just become more and more relevant, and I think other platforms will probably become more relevant, assuming that censorship doesn't happen. So let's be positive. Does anyone have any election data? I don't. But what other questions do we have here, guys? I don't think we're immune to the bear market, man, unfortunately. It's just a matter of basically we just follow the asset markets. We're just a more risk on asset effectively. And as the money prints, it goes into risk assets and basically affects us. So yeah, like what will happen is basically they're going to cut rates. That will make money cheaper. When money is cheaper, there's more gets issued, and then that eventually flows into risk assets, which creates inflation, which causes rates to go up. So that cycle is effectively what we're riding. Dude, I know. The thing is, like, the competition is not even that good. I was looking at some of these local politicians from where I'm from in the United States. Dude, they're really not that good. Like, they just get a bunch of old people to vote for them every time. The same freaking few thousand old people. And they wield such power, It'd be pretty easy to go in there, be a young face, and actually do something. That's why I don't get why people are like, I'm going to leave the United States. It's like, I've lived in like 20 countries. I've traveled to like probably 100 countries. There's really not a lot of countries as good as the United States. Really, really. Like, even Western Europe, I mean, most of Europe is worse than the United States, I would say. Yeah, I've lived in the Middle East, I've lived in Europe, I've lived in Asia. And I've obviously lived in the United States, and I have to say that parts of the United States they're irreplaceably good. Like, you can't just, where are you going to run to, man? This is another thing that people don't get about running away. Like, this idea, like, there's this thing called harmonization. So basically, you have all these banana republics and third world countries and, places that boroughs like to hang out with their marketing agencies like Thailand. And what they don't realize is that when the US makes a law, all of the US aligned countries effectively adopt that law. So they just export their legal decisions to the United States because the United States is a respected legal jurisdiction. So they don't trust their own government they don't trust their own lawmaking ability, right? So they do what's called harmonization. It's probably also pushed by the United States, where basically they just enact the same laws that are there in the United States, which is obviously in the American interest, because if they regulate something and it damages American basically competitiveness, then they effectively dampen everyone's competitiveness and keep the United States on top. So that harmonization aspect is one thing that people don't get. They're like, bro, I'm going to go to Eastern Europe. It's like, dude, they all just harmonize their laws with the EU and US. Or you're going to go to UAE where you already have no freedom of speech. So yeah, dude, United States is it's just geographically, like you can't just give the gifts of the United States are are geographic in a lot of ways, and you can't really like replicate that in one place. Most of the nice places in the world are regulated, and they're bureaucratic, and they harmonize with the United States. So if you want to live in a place with like nice weather and it's clean and you breathe clean air and there's not crime, I mean, most of those places have governments that should probably be changed and improved. So I think people should be working on improving their own governments. I know it's a old school way of thinking, but like, dude, it matters, you know? It's just basically, if you're one of these bros who's like, I'm gonna move to Dubai, you're basically just counting on other people picking up your shit in the country you're from, because like you're probably not gonna spend your whole life there. And even if you do, like those smaller countries that you're migrating to are effectively defended by the West, right? And their prosperity is secured by the West. So you're basically just, your ancestors basically paid for you to have a good life, and you basically shat away like your contribution to that. And that's lame. Like I don't get these bros. And to say that politics doesn't matter is like, okay, well maybe it doesn't matter, but it's 30 minutes to vote. So go and otherwise, whatever small sliver of political influence you do have by voting, you're effectively relegating that to a bunch of old people who watch CNN. So like you might as well just exercise whatever small amount of power you have there and then move on with your day. It's one fucking day. So I don't really get it, man. Like people are these like I don't vote because it doesn't matter. People are just, it's lame. It's apathetic and it's ultimately a cop out. So anyway, on a positive note, guys, go out and vote. It would be really fun to have Elon in government. Like that's a really cool thing. And this really matters for crypto, actually. Like another example is if this stuff didn't matter to crypto, then why is Richard Hart tweeting about it? You know, he's a lot smarter than me and a hell of a lot richer than me. And he's out here every day tweeting about politics. Elon Musk is tweeting about politics, right? Like, if these guys are doing it, then maybe that's a sign that this really is actually pretty important. And so that's pretty much all I wanted to say on the political front, guys. Like, there are now big super PACs. Like, crypto is one of the biggest, actually, special interests in this election for the first time. And, you know, there's a reason why guys like Brian Armstrong are forming these super PACs, and it's not because they can't do anything about the situation. If it was truly hopeless, they already would have left the United States. So you can't have this apathetic idea, like, because if you do, then you're just going against like what all the smart people think, basically, including all the people in our industry. And I mean, I'm calling these people out on Twitter because I just don't get it. Like, I think what it is a lot of these people are actually closet Democrats or closet Harris voters. And so they're downplaying the election so that they can effectively cop out of it and vote Democrat, because they're emotional and they don't like Orange Man. And that's ultimately why people aren't voting for Trump, is because they're emotional and they don't like Orange Man. But it does matter for crypto because Trump is going to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. See, this is what I don't understand. If you actually like crypto, if you actually care about Bitcoin ascending, then you only have one choice in this election. Be a single issue voter. Be a single issue voter and vote for your banks. LFG Inferno ALX. Yeah, let's go. Let's look at the chart for Inferno. Pulling it up right now. How's Inferno doing? It's up 4%, 4.8% today. It's looking good. I mean, the chart's looking really good. Good volume, 600K volume. Yeah, chart's looking really good. All those build on Inferno projects are having an effect, which is really good. DragonX up 13%. DragonX chart looks good. Can someone do TA on this for me? Because I think it's really interesting that like this pattern, it has like this sawtooth pattern. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's just an ascending like chart. It's looking very bullish. I can mention some stuff we're building for Hydra today. So DragonX up 14%, AlienX up 21%, Morpheus up 18%. What's our other double digits? Tink is up 10%. Here we go. What's the Tink price? This is the price we all care about. Let's see. Okay, it's back up to 1.7. $1.70. That's good. Flux up 10%. Everything's pumping. Volt up 11%. Someone asked me thoughts on Volt. I think it's down to the pillar performance, I would say. I still think DragonX will continue to be the market leader. Like I said, we have multiple projects in the works for DragonX and Hydra. So I don't see Volt overtaking us, but the chart looks good. It's on the upswing. And I would say that that Volt will do well. It's really up to the performance of the pillars. If the pillars flop, then maybe you won't see the massive performance you saw before. But I mean, if you look at the Volt DragonX ratio, Volt climbed hard on DragonX, and only now is DragonX basically gaining on Volt again. So kudos to the people who traded Volt. We'll see what the future holds. Steve and I are both very interested in continuing to build on our stuff. So that would be cool, man. All digital. The problem with digital is that the people who actually vote are a bunch of old people in your like district, and so all this stuff online it really doesn't hit the same. Like ground game is actually very important in elections because they're very local. I mean, it's even the presidential election, it comes down to a few districts. So ultimately, like, I mean, if I was going to run a campaign, I would be knocking on doors, like for Congress. Like I was looking at the district I would run in. I think you could turn it, like it just recently turned Democrat, which is kind of sad. But like, I mean, the opposition is so weak, man. It really is. Like, if a young guy came in and ran for one of these seats, I think they could win. Like the incumbents are just these old people, and they don't do anything. You know? Yeah, it's insane. They're letting people pour over the border completely unchecked. It's treason, ultimately. Like, there's no other way of saying it. That's a lost cause, man. Yep, they will. And the Republicans are too fair, and they basically were dead. They were dead until Trump. Like the Republican Party was dead until Trump. Like, Obama killed the Republican Party, the old Republican Party. So now we have this big tent Republican Party, and I do think they can win elections. So I wouldn't be too, like, I think they can still win elections. We'll see. What's up, Mo? Do you guys have any? I think I put a link to the stream chat. So if you guys want to get on this stream, just message me. Mo, let's go, man. Good to have you on, dude. Yeah, dude, I know. I don't know any like dude, like any like Chads who are voting for Kamala. I'm telling you, it's so funny, man. Like dudes all think it doesn't matter, but like old people think it matters, you know. And the ladies think it matters. They vote way more than guys. So like the only people that don't think it matters are the guys. And like if you look at male life satisfaction, it's just like tanking. And you look at the suicide rates for young men, it's super high. The highest cause of death of men between 18 and 26 is suicide. So you're like, okay, well, you're a bunch of guys who would rather play video games and work your shit job than spend 30 minutes out of your day or an hour out of your day to vote once a year, like once every 4 years. But the world is getting terrible for you, but you still think it's stupid and boring not to not think about politics. It's like the group of guys who used to run politics for thousands of years has been psyoped into thinking that they don't have control over politics. That's probably the greatest psyop ever. You know, I just think it's so funny. It's like if you got 10,000 guys, like if you got 10,000 guys together in one of these swing states and got them organized and serious about politics, they could fucking swing an election. You know, but they're so psyoped into thinking it doesn't matter that they don't do it. You know, and then like a bunch of people who aren't them vote and they get to decide. So that's why we have a bunch of Karens running the country, because Karens are voting and you're not voting because you don't think it matters. You know, it's so funny. So we get what we deserve. Yeah, I think we can do it, Mo. I really think we can do it. So Ascender is a protocol I'm really interested in. I'm pushing them to do top tier audits. I could potentially be giving them a grant if they would get on a call with me. I want to get on a call with them to make sure they're building something solid. But if they are, then maybe they'll be the ones to get that grant. Auction protocol built on DragonX burns Tink. It's fantastic. So I want to see another protocol launch on DragonX. It's a real killer. So I'm going to work with them. I've been meaning to touch base with the AwesomeX team. I want to see if I can help them there. Let's look at the AwesomeX price, actually. I'm trying to put out more of a message that I'm here for the community, you know? Like, yes, I am a DragonX personal. I'm big into DragonX. But even if you're launching a protocol that is competitive with DragonX, I will still connect you with the right auditors. I'll give you my opinion on your game theory. Like, if you're just a guy with an idea and you don't have a team and you don't have resources, then I might not really be there to respond to you too much because I can't handhold you through the entire process of founding a token. But if you're a team like Lotus, or you're a team like AwesomeX, or you're a team like Baby DragonX team, and you have resources and you have a mission plan, everything like planned out, and you have devs, then let's do a call. We can talk about things. I talked with Column. I talked with one of the guys from Ascender. I think I gave good advice to both of them that could help them. So yeah, I'm here for you guys. It doesn't need to be built on DragonX for me to give you a hand. I think you're going to do well if you build on DragonX. But let's look at the AwesomeX price. I mean, AwesomeX is cool because it just keeps running, right? So like, it doesn't need to be huge right away because it's a perpetual mint protocol. And so there's time for them to gather users, for them to gather momentum, for the chart to bottom out. They're benefiting from DragonX price appreciation. So AwesomeX guys can, you know, as the bull market comes in and more people come in, they can reach a broader audience. They can reach different people, right? AwesomeX is its own YouTube channel. So Yeah, I think it's great. The purpose of that project was not just novel game theory. It was also to create a token for that YouTuber, for that guy who has an existing following, and to give him a good foundation to launch to basically launch a community token. So I like AwesomeX, and let's see how much they have in buying there. I think it's cool to have a diversity of people. Like, they don't always all need to be hardcore entrepreneurial types, but they do need to get good audits, and they do need to have resources, right? Like, you can't sacrifice the fundamentals just because you're not like super ambitious, whatever. But you don't need to take the route of streaming every day, building tons of things, right? Like, it's a different mentality, but the fundamentals still need to be good. So they have 300K in buy and burn. I don't know what the replacement rate on this is, but I mean, it looks good. It's a smaller protocol, but it has potential. They've already burned. This is the funny thing. AwesomeX has burned 43% of the supply, like, quietly, right? So if it does take off, there's going to be a lot less of the supply there, right? So that's great. So it's primed for a bunch of people to come in. This actually happened in early DragonX. I think 18% of the entire supply was burned off during that dark age we had. So you had 18% of the supply was eradicated. People weren't even paying attention to DragonX, right? And that set the stage for the leg up. Could Morpheus reach parity with Dragon? I don't know how much was issued of Morpheus. Is the mint phase still ongoing? I don't know. I mean, I would look at the Morpheus DragonX chart and see how they're gaining. Like, I think the more important thing is, are they gaining on DragonX? Not necessarily will the price reach parity, right? Because I mean, token price is also based on just supply. So if they have they have a smaller supply than DragonX, half the supply. So they could be, the dollar value of each token could be higher. They've burned almost 1 billion DragonX, which is sweet. So I really like systems built on DragonX. I think these guys are going to be rewarded. Like, I think AwesomeX guy and the Morpheus team, I think they made a good choice. Time will tell, but I don't know. I can't think of a better basically mechanism for building other than basically TitanX to take DragonX as your input. Did I freeze? Okay, looks like I'm back. Sorry about that. Close some of these windows here. Okay. I think I'm back now. So yeah, I was just saying, I think that the people that are building on DragonX are making a good choice. I think it's the strongest place to build. Take TitanX as an input, burn some TitanX, buy your DragonX. You can burn some, and then you can continue with your protocol. I think that's a good way of going. I would say that, yeah. If I was building a smaller scale protocol, and I wanted to piggyback on a community within TitanX, I would choose DragonX. And I'm going to be working more on that to make sure that these people are supported, because these various teams they're committing to build on my tokens, so I want to make sure that they're supported. Thoughts on Hyper? I think it's awesome that we're going to get Matrix, and when we get that, I think that's going to be really beneficial for Hyper, the same way DragonX was for TitanX. So yeah, Hyper just kind of hangs out and burns TitanX. It's pretty great protocol. Every state will be Cali if Kamala wins. I think they will. I think that. I think it'll be interesting because if Kamala doesn't get the House or the Senate, then they can do a lot with the presidency too because they're really corrupt. So they actually don't really listen to the legislator anymore. It's really bad. The executive's way too strong. They probably should have in the Constitution. They probably should have. The executive is too strong. It does too much. There's 450 agencies. That's what Elon was saying today. 2 agencies a year. 2 new agencies are being created every year. So the executive power was not constrained enough, I guess, in the Constitution. And the corruption and slow-moving aspect of the legislature, it basically prevents it from being an adequate check on the executive, especially in the modern era with technology and huge populations. The executive is able to gain power and communicate too fast for the legislature to catch up and to prevent it from obtaining power. So that's a huge problem because the executive can violate the law or create its own interpretations of the law, and the review process is too delayed. Effectively, the review process for their for their bad actions is too delayed for basically for them not to have an effect. So the executive branch is too big. There should have been some kind of restriction on it within the Constitution. Maybe it should have been split into multiple parts. I don't think they never envisioned such a strong central government. We basically live in Hamilton's America. We don't live in Jefferson's America. And yeah, it is what it is. I think ultimately the executive is going to overwhelm the country, and so this is probably part of that. Like I think I have a suspicion Kamala will win. Actually, I think Kamala will probably win. That's my own belief. I'm a bit cynical, I guess. I mean, I really want Trump to win, but even if Trump wins, I'm not sure if you can really stop the decline at this point. Phoenix moment. Phoenix is cool. I had a good call with Callum, and yeah, great guy. I'm loving his live streams. So I'll be interested to see what he comes up with for sure. According to internet searches, this theory, as it applies to intelligent design, has been refuted. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not talking about the religious sense of irreducible complexity. I'm talking about the fact that you can't know all the variables. But social engineers and social scientists have always made the blunder of believing that they can control complex systems, and the result has always been unintended consequences and human suffering. And that's the point I was trying to make. The social experiments of the 20th century around communism and socialism are a perfect example of that. It was effectively a pseudo-religion and belief system, communism, which believed that there were certain levers you could pull in society to make it equal, namely greatly hampering capitalism and freedom of human economic activity that would result in a more equitable society. That was found to be completely refuted through the deaths of hundreds of millions of people. And it's because those people didn't understand how complex economies are and the effect of basically fucking with them. So that's what I mean when I say irreducible complexity. It's complexity that cannot be reduced down into something that can be controlled or basically coerced into a different way of operating. It's like the human body. Like if you were to look at the way people treat society now, government officials and control type people, communists, socialists, people that believe government should be in private life, they would look at the human body and say, look at this flawed creature. Look at all of these extra kidneys. It has 2 kidneys, but it only uses 33% of that. Let's take those kidneys out, and you can share a kidney with him. He can share a kidney with then the person next to him. We'll use that extra kidney space, and we'll fucking get rid of that because that's superfluous. Then you'll be lighter. That's good for you. So we'll take out one of your kidneys. You don't need that. You only need 1 lung. That's a waste. And by the way, this person needs a lung, so let me take it from you and put it in someone else. So you get where I'm going with this. They would look at the seemingly useless redundancy of the human body and think that the logical thing was to remove organs. Or they would, prescribe medicines that were unnecessary, right? That's what they do in the economy. They prescribe medicines that are unnecessary. Or they would effectively perform bloodletting. If you know what that is, it was a form of debunked medicine that killed George Washington, for example, where they believed that illness, because they didn't have a good understanding of microbes, they believed that the problem people got illnesses because their blood was too hot. So to cool off the body, they would basically bleed people to near death. And these are the kind of, effectively, we have policies like this. If you think of society as a body or a corpus, we effectively have policies that are equivalent to bloodletting. Okay, like having the limits on the height of apartments, right? Because they don't want overbuilding in neighborhoods, or they think that, or they're afraid of gentrification, so they have rent controls, right? Which is stupid, because gentrification just means the neighborhood's getting richer. So why would you stop that, right? No, so these kind of policies are just destructive to the economy. And a society and economy can only take so many of these before it starts to fall apart. It was a pretty great campaign. I mean, honestly, I feel like if they if they ran RFK as the front man, this election would be over. He would have crushed Harris. It's only because of Trump derangement syndrome that we're even close right now. That's the thing that bothers me. Like, because you want Trump to win for all of the reasons. Trump's just one guy, right? He's just a guy. Like, it would have been just as good for RFK to be president, and then you'd get the same cabinet. And I think RFK would have absolutely destroyed Kamala Harris. It wouldn't even be close. Not even close. He could probably take every state because he's such a unifying figure. Can someone give me a link to live election data, and I'll pull it up. I don't think polls have closed anywhere yet, so I don't think you got any information. But I mean, none of all of the swing states take multiple days. Shocker. And they do this propaganda about the race being a toss-up. That's kind of fucked up. But I mean, there are quite a few. There are quite a few deranged human beings. BDAX on Tink? What do you mean by that? I don't get that one. We're gonna build something for Tink. I mean, as we were saying before, like $2 Tink would be amazing. Let's keep the party going. I'm not really sure. Either way, when this election is over, we're going to get a pump. It's a great time to launch. Excuse me. It's a great time to launch a build on TitanX protocol, because basically we're going to have some up-only action. Like, I don't know if it'll be as big as the other bull markets, but historically, markets always rally after the uncertainty of the election. It doesn't even matter who the person is who gets elected. Either way, the rates are getting cut. So like now is a good time because basically you're gonna look smart by launching now. Your thing is gonna look it's gonna look like the next big thing because the market is with you. You're surfing the wave. Whereas like with Dragon X, it was awesome, but the time wasn't right, right? So we had to go through that winter. And to our credit, we were the only basically built on TitanX protocol that went one of the only ones, along with Helios, that went through that winter, right? So we went through the depths of that, and we survived that. And I don't think it's very difficult for another protocol to replicate that level of survival, like to have gone through that. So I would say that speaks volumes about Dragon X. Think of it this way, it'll be an optimistic future for millions of undocumented migrants. Okay, joke's over. Thoughts on Farmer Abe? Bring it on, man. That's the tink burning one, right? Sounds good to me. He should have the beanie, though, for the hat instead of the... No one ever made a meme coin about me. That's too bad. The new website's all designed. Excuse me. The new website is all designed. It looks super good. We're going to have an awesome animation on the front page. We're going to feature all the build on Dragon X protocols will be featured. We're going to have basically a live update of all the Dragon X has been burned and it's being burned live, as well as all the different protocols and the Dragon X they've burned, and the amount of Dragon X being burned each day by each protocol. I want to also add, so there'll also be a total stats about how much Dragon X has been burned, etc. And there will be, obviously, the functions that need to be run will be there. Dragon X Hybrid will be there. And I also want to have a basically like a hex.live kind of thing, where you have like you put in your address, and none of it will be stored in a server, it'll be client side. But you put on you put your address in, you get your rank, you get your C creature level, your percentage hold of what you have, and then like what you would need to get to the next rank. I think that would be cool to have for everybody. So it'd be like just like a mobile first site you can put on your smartphone. You can just navigate there quickly, cache your address, and then you can just refresh it and you can see like where you are on the leaderboard basically. Nice. Alex Jones is streaming. Thoughts on Hydra? I mean, it could be bottoming. I don't know. You know, like I said, everything is going to start to work at once, guys. That's kind of how this crypto cycles work. Like people talk about new paradigm DeFi design, and they talk about like this is designed better than that. It's like, I mean, Bitcoin doesn't do anything and it moons, right? Like meme coins don't do anything and they moon. There'll be this moment where everything just starts to work. And Hydra will be a part of that. There's a lot of buy and burn. It's very easy for Hydra supply to be burned up. We are launching something on Hydra, as I said, behind the scenes. I'm not sure if I've already alluded to it. I mean, I mentioned it, and I haven't just alluded to it. I have said that we are launching a referral system for Hydra, and I think that will bring in a lot of new miners to Hydra. And when that comes in, the Hydra dream will be more alive than ever. It's not dead. Hydra's doing fine. The thing about these mining protocols is before the 88, you don't see how the protocol is going to play out quite yet. So it feels a little bit grim because there's a lot of supply coming out. But that's kind of the only day where once that day is over, then the protocol does fine. Like look at Hyper. I also have a suspicion that Harris will be surprisingly strong. I actually think that a lot of this Trump winning stuff is a psyop. If you look at some of the YouTube channels that are doing it, they're not Republicans. They're not. And then the Republicans are obviously, they're almost too bullish, right? So when it's a psyop they can do where they basically say like, oh yeah, he's got it. Don't even worry about it. He's got it. And then it's possible to shift the vote, right? If it's only by a few thousand. That's that's a tactic. So that's why I'm not actually convinced that Trump's going to win at all. I think it's really, really, really a coin toss. And I'm even leaning toward a Harris win. People are really underestimating not only how psyoped so much of the country has become, but voting irregularities are a thing. And these mail-in ballots, it was only supposed to be for people who couldn't get to the polls, and now it's like it's swamping the polls. So I mean, it's really concerning, but we'll see. There's already been evidence of election fraud. That's why I hate to say that I hate to see these articles where it says there's been no fraud. It's a bold-faced lie to the American public. I mean, in Pennsylvania, they had a press conference and they found 2,000 fraudulent ballots because a nonprofit was collecting people's data to register them, but then they just filled out ballots for them because they had all the information they needed and sent them in. And that was just one instance of it. So that's the world we live in, man. Election. It's so funny. People are like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." It's like, then why are they rigging it? If it doesn't matter, why are they friggin' rigging it? So get out and vote. People are really naive about elections and politics. They don't realize that the reason why we have bad politics is because people believe politics can't be changed. It's reflexive. It's like crypto. When morphine drug and beyond farms. Good question. Let's look at the volume. If the volume's getting up there, then we could do it. The thing is, what I've noticed actually is the last few protocols we added to Tink, they didn't really take to using it, which blows my mind because it's passive income. But it's like, come on, guys. We're trying to do it for the community. Yeah, the volume's not high enough on Morpheus yet, but the chart is looking really good. So, if the chart starts to go up a lot, people will flock over there, and I would love to add it. Same goes for AwesomeX. It is at 100,000 volume. Yeah, it's still a bit low. So ORX, I mean, people didn't take to ORX. The volume tanked, and people didn't take to it. And similarly with Lotus. Where's Lotus? Lotus. So similarly with Lotus has 242K. I mean, yeah, I would have liked for more people to get into the Lotus Titan farms. Let's see what I have in that right now. Yeah, it's 225%. There's not a lot of people in it. Actually, 44% is getting up there. That's good. I would like to see that higher, though. The volume is pretty low. I think Matrix is going to be one that's going to get listed fast because Mike Dean is a champ, and he's probably going to get a lot of volume and a lot of interest. So I'm looking forward to that one for sure. I think we're going to get another national champion in TitanX. Like Volta's a national champion, DragonX is a national champion. We need another one. I hope the Matrix is that one. Inferno is definitely also a leader. Inferno is Inferno is also a national champion with 600K volume. So those are our three flagships, I would say. Not to denigrate any other protocol. I think they're all, like, the ones that have launched and are doing well are, I mean, they all have their place. But right now, I would say, I mean, Hyper, let's do Hyper. Hyper volume is 500K, actually. Hyper's doing really well. Yeah, Hyper's doing really well. Yeah, we have a lot of great protocols. Hydra has 600K volume. So yeah, we have great protocols. The questions here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he came out in support for Trump. That's good. I really find it so strange that people, the justifications they give for not voting in a guy who wants to remove poisons from agriculture, Elon Musk. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. The justifications for Kamala are they're just so weak. I mean, Trump's character, yeah, he's not the greatest guy, but like the cabinet is really solid. So, and what is Kamala Harris offering? She's offering a 5th Obama term. She's offering exactly what Joe Biden has been doing, again, for another 4 years, and she's got almost half the country. That just shocks me. It's shocking. It's really a bad sign. But that's okay. That's okay. What's up, Patty? Oh, no, I was just saying, like, it wouldn't be that expensive to run a congressional campaign, actually. Like, I was looking at what these guys can spend. I mean, some of them only spend like $300,000 or $400,000, and they get a congressional seat. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's within the realm of possibility for crypto people to take seats. And I wouldn't be doing this for years, obviously. But I think it would be cool. Like, I was looking into my district, and really it's a pretty simple process. And if you're really dedicated and you really work hard, I really think you could do it. Like, I really think you could do it. So I feel good. I'm feeling better each day. Thank you for asking. Coughing less, feeling more energetic. So thanks. I don't think all the profits, all the projects delete potential gains. If you build on top of a TitanX protocol, then people need to swap through one protocol to another. So the economic energy is kind of preserved. Morpheus is launching a DEX aggregator, which will help make those paths more optimal for the community. So we'll orphan some of those Ethereum pairs. Like, we have a thick Ethereum pair on Volt. Ethereum is a big pair, but that's inefficient, right? Because you don't go through TitanX. See if we can pull that pair up, actually. So what you want is for the pairing, because then you're not really deleting the economic energy. You're just shifting the ratios between TitanX assets. So that's okay. What you want to be careful for is protocols that don't follow the ethos, because they may be extracting value. Volt ETH. Yeah, so this is it's down to 50K volume. It was almost 6-figure volume before, but now it's down to 50K, which is good. I think what we need is I don't want to discourage people from building. I think it's great. I think there's a place for niche protocols for people, especially who are influencers, like Mo, Crypto Awesome, Mike Dean, right? These guys have audiences, so they have direct access to marketing. So they don't necessarily need to do something groundbreaking, right? But in general, I would like to see fewer high-quality protocols that are trying new and interesting things, because I think that brings in more new eyeballs. Look at Volt, right? It was a totally new take on auctions, and people really took to that. I think it just adds a little bit more to the ecosystem than having a fork of something else. It's all good because it burns TitanX, don't get me wrong. So I'm still positive on it. But I just think for the sake of kind of what we're here for in terms of DeFi innovation, like I would like to see protocols that are stretching the boundaries a little bit more. But you know, what we build for Tink is not going to be that groundbreaking. Like it's going to be just a solid burner for Tink. So not everything has to be a total new paradigm shift, you know. But I would like to see in general people taking time to build cool shit that's a little bit more differentiated, because that's just good for engagement. I think we are doing that as well, so that's good. What we got here? What's up, Dom Hex? Dude, bring some Hex people over. Bring some Hallstream people over. Stuff's looking really good here. Have a look at the charts. We're up and to the right. Who knows what the price of DragonX will be, my friend? Oh, Mo's coming? Mo's coming up? In code we trust. That was really funny. Someone got me in the Jesus pose with this thing. Like, oh, love that. Still time for an Eric coin, yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think mail-in should be allowed, like unless you're handicapped or out of the country. You know, like you shouldn't just be able to do mail-in and deliver these things like in big boxes. That's fucked. I mean, it's kind of obvious that that's. I mean, they're obviously leaving attack vectors open. So, and also these Dominion voting machines. I mean, that's just a disaster. Like, these feel like intentional backdoors into. I mean, Elon Musk has said as much. Like, these are intentional bugs in the system that people can exploit effectively. Right? Like an automated voting machine is just, dude, you're asking for the fucking NSA to be in there, man. I mean, they're in all our communications. Why wouldn't they be in that thing? Yeah, no rush, no rush. I mean, like I said, everything's going to start working. Like even if Kamala wins, the market will crash, and then it will probably start rising, and then the rate cuts will kick in. What's up, Jake? Jake, you joining, man? You can join up. I need to take a second and see if I can get Mo on here. Sorry, guys. Let's go, Mo. Guys, you have any crypto questions? What I'm building? There you go, Mo. But yeah, you know, Jake has been making a good point. Like, we need to be positive. So don't take what I'm saying as a negativity, guys, because ultimately, DragonX, and TitanX community is looking very, very strong. There's just so much burning happening. It's inevitable. They will cut rates. The government needs to refinance their debt, and when that happens, we're in a beautiful spot. So let's be positive about that. I personally think Kamala is going to win, but I do hope that I'm wrong. Either way, I think that this will only further galvanize people for a changing government, because there's only one way that a Kamala Harris presidency can go, and it's not positive for anybody. Like, nobody is going to want 4 more years after this, and that could be the end of this entire Obama 12 years, 16 years of Obama thing that's happening right now, which is what we really need. Landslide, baby. Do we have any polls up right now, boys? Any early stuff? Come on. The New York Times says it's a toss-up, guys, so it must be a toss-up. Believe that this woman with a below 100 IQ is a good candidate. We must believe that. Do we have any reporting districts we can look at? I don't see any numbers, guys. Help me out with the link. Did I freeze? Am I freezing up, guys? I think I'm freezing up a bit. Oh shit, Mo is here. Hello, Mo.
How are you, sir?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Where's that? Over there?
I think things are a bit slow on my end. Am I frozen?
You seem fine. Let me check your feed.
Freezing up, guys?
I think you're good.
Awesome.
I can hear
How
it.
you doing,
We'll just pretend like it's still going. I'm going good. I voted. It was strange.
Was it?
Yeah, no ID required at all. It's California, so.
That is a bit strange.
I expected that, but it's still just like, you're holding it in your hand and they're just like, don't care. Here's your ballot. Go
So what do you say? You're like my name is.
Did you say name?
I live where I.
Yeah, I don't even know if they checked a list. It looked like she just was like, okay, and then just handed me a ballot. Yeah, it was very bizarre.
That's the thing about mail-in. It's like mail-in, you don't need to show your ID. So I mean, this NGO that was cheating, they were just taking people's information and putting it on ballots because there's no ID law. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jake's pumping us up here with winner energy. Join up, dude. We need you,
I refuse
man.
to hear anything else, so I'm not going to acknowledge you talking about how you think Kamala's going to win, maybe. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of just as cynical as you, and I'm like, they better not. They better not. They're probably going to. They better not.
We got this.
We'll see.
Come on, dude. There he is. Here's the champ. What's up, man?
Let's fucking go.
Hit me, baby.
Okay,
I know you voted, dude. Do you mail in a ballot?
Everybody should. All over the world, you send them in.
Send them in. I love those memes, people from different countries are posting the same. Like I voted for that.
Yeah.
I voted on the trip.
Yes. Here's the states I'm going to today. Yeah.
Right, but the vibes are high, man. If there's no Black Swan event, we're fucking back, baby.
I know. Yeah, we're gonna crush it either way, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with crypto, man. Even if the other side wins, the end result is hyperinflation. The only Black Swan event in that case is unrealized capital gains tax, because that will ruin stock market, ruin crypto, ruin house ownership, ruin everything.
Yeah,
whoever came up with that idea needs to be put in prison. That's the fucking
worst
world
idea.
exploding idea. My God.
I know, but I don't think there's I don't think any special interest. Like, I mean, they probably just say that for the diehards. Like, I don't think there's any special interest that really wants that. Like, Wall Street gives all their money to the Democrats. They sure as hell don't want that. So,
right, imagine.
Yeah, that's like them talking about like, oh, we'll look into term limits. No, you're not. That's just something you're saying. Yeah, you're absolutely not doing that. Nancy Pelosi's not voting for anything that won't allow her to keep trading better than Warren Buffett.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to run for Congress. It's not even that expensive.
Do it.
It's like 300K.
Go where in the US?
Can you?
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Yeah, do it, man. Hell yeah. Kidding me?
Let's do a Titan cabinet. Fuck it. Let's run the
Oh
country.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Can you run as Farmer Abe though? Because we kind of need that the visibility still.
Gotta ramp up the rhetoric, man. I know. I need a top hat.
1 second, I'll switch cameras.
Stuff from Australia. Stuff from down under. Did you guys vote? Get your mail-in ballots in.
I hope you're on your road trip. Let's go.
Yeah. Fly over to the US, guys. Come on.
Don't start in Texas. You won't make it to the next state until tomorrow.
Go. Let's go, Trump. I'm
Let's
interested.
go.
I want Elon in government, man. That's my dream.
Oh,
That'd be
man.
wild.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh man, the memes.
Man,
I'm
This
psyched
is
about
a
RFK
big
being
day.
in there.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's so... This is a big day, man. Like, this
I
could be
know,
a
man.
fork in human history. Like, people will talk about this day. Like, hey, this is where basically humanity was saved from the globalists.
Rogan is right, dude. Like Elon made such a big impact by buying Twitter. It's actually ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
My God, he really did change the course of history. I mean, this election would have been just totally different. There's no way Trump would even stand a chance without X. You know?
Yeah, and you make a good point, because the other side is essentially pro censorship, or
Yeah.
what they deem misinformation, which is basically just speech that they don't like, which is everything except for propaganda.
Mhm.
Yeah, X
Yeah.
wouldn't exist. Where the fuck would you talk?
I know.
Where did we go? Are so
I know.
crazy.
That's why, like, even if you are a crypto bro who thinks he's gonna escape to fucking Dubai, like a retard, like you might as well be a single issue voter, like, because all the marketing for crypto happens on this platform, on X, right? So like, take your 30 minutes and vote, bro. You know, then go back to your 10K per month like marketing agency where you do social media or whatever crap you do. But like, it's just so silly, these guys, you know. And that's actually really surprising that the culture of crypto is so aloof. But anyway, I digress.
Did you
I
see
think
the
we're all
Yeah,
post?
I mean, let's be honest. I've seen some of these like face doxes of these popular Twitter accounts, and they look exactly like you would think they look. When you hear them talk, you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Physiognomy is real, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look like Abe Lincoln, and you know, I'm also tall like Abe Lincoln. So I mean, yeah, it's physiognomy is definitely real. Let's see what we got here. This is gonna be close. Yeah, I mean, it's man, it wouldn't necessarily be chaos. I hope it's okay.
If they killed him, it would have been chaos.
Yeah, people just
I was
kind of
in-
forgot about that. That's the crazy part.
I was in the hospital bed when that happened, watching that and being like, bro. Like, did you see the movie Civil War?
No, I didn't see it.
Decent, but it had some moments where it was like, oh, we could have been approaching that kind of history very soon if he got killed that day. And it was like this scene where basically people get pulled out of the car and they're like, it's okay, we're Americans. And the guy with the gun's like, yeah, but what kind of an American are you? And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it really is getting like that in the United States, actually.
Oh shit.
It really is getting like that in the United States. But yeah. No, it's okay. Jake, how's X28 going?
Good. We're doing a final audit check.
Okay. Nice.
And Shogun is in building. I'm working on the UI now.
Nice.
But yeah, X20 is close. Very, very close. Because we simplified the code a lot because we want to make it an infrastructure pass. So it's going to be 1-to-1 with TitanX. So people are always going to be able to get one X28 for one TitanX. And the reason we want to do that is because I want to start promoting build on X28 because it's a way more powerful leverage point on the ecosystem. Because as people create X28, it burdens TitanX supply, which has this lever effect that you don't get by just building on TitanX. So I wanted to make it as easily adoptable as possible and not make it scarce compared to TitanX because it's 1-to-1.
Okay.
And as people convert into X28, TitanX gets scarcer, X28 gets scarcer because half of the TitanX gets burned, the other half gets used to buy and burn X28. And then the kill shot is Shogun on X28. That's gonna be that'll be the best thing I've ever built.
Nice.
So did I Sorry, go ahead.
The X28 is no longer an auction protocol. Now it is a one-to-one, effectively arbitrage protocol. Okay.
Yep, 100%. And because if we want people to build an X28, it needs to be easily convertible for the user. So if they have 100 billion TitanX, they can get 100 billion X28. It will have massively thick liquidity pools, so you have the same liquidity as TitanX.
Mm-hmm.
But as they do that, the TitanX supply gets way more scarce. Yeah, there's going to be a lot there, and then Shogun will also burn X28.
Okay. The volume is going to be insane on X28 if there's that arbitrage opportunity there. That's going to be so good for farms.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, because
Does the
people are going
focus
to
then shift to
X28? Yeah, the focus is going to shift to building on X28. That's what I would like to see, because then by default, if we get adoption on X28, it's also going to attract attention on all the chains. So the way we're going to do the rollout, because X28, the reason people want X28 is because one, the arbitrage is going to force people, even if they can make 1%, 2%, 3% in like a minute, people are going to do it all day long. So X28 is going to start on Ethereum, and then we're going to roll out the different chains later on. So probably for the first week or two, it's going to be only on Ethereum, because we want people to get adjusted to the protocol. The supply only gets created on Ethereum. So the only way X28 gets created is with TitanX on Ethereum going into X28 on Ethereum. And then that supply bridges out to other chains using layer 0. But the chains are going to roll out later, because you first want to get the marketing going for build on X28. And as more things build on X28, because I know there's going to be 2 vault builders, one on X28, one on Shogun. That's already confirmed by Steve. Yeah, because the moment people start building on X28, yeah, it's game over. Then you can say bye-bye to the TitanX supply.
Yeah, I love that, man.
The alpha just got dropped. An X28 pillar. Good lord.
So you're doing layer 0, right, for X28?
Yep, correct.
Do you know what chain you're going to go to first? Have you decided?
Probably, I would think Ethereum, and then all the layer 2s on Ethereum, like Base, Arbitrum, etc., and then branch out to all other. I'm probably going to do it in terms of volume. So when you look at Dex Screener, it's Solana, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Base, Arbitrum, Polygon, Sui, Avalanche, Optimism, Dawn, Celo, Aptos. If I remember correctly, you can also get a layer 0 token on Solana, so there's a high chance it'll be on Solana as well. Which is going to be interesting, because I don't even know how you build on Solana. It's like Rust. And it's like this weird like program thing instead of a token. Yeah, I have to look into that.
Yeah, base could be good. We have some experience building on base, and we've had really, really good experience with it. Like the tooling is really good. So yeah, it could be good. We're definitely going to build a cross-chain protocol as well that complements X28. I think a cross-chain farm would be really, really cool. So if I have a token, you have a token, and they're both allowing people to bridge value over to base, then that's like, and then we'll have bridge DragonX for sure. Probably bridge TitanX, so we can make quite a few pairs, and then you have trading volume, so you can justify a farm pretty fast. It'd be cool.
Oh yeah, one of the things I was thinking about is you can essentially copy paste the X28 model on DragonX, and then have that as your DragonX Omni chain. And while doing that, you also create the arbitrage, because then all the supply from all the protocols, I think that would be sick. Because then you can have all the pairs you have on Ethereum on all these other chains, launch farms on all the other chains, have volume, all of it accruing back to the core, which is Ethereum. And people can trade essentially a one-to-one token with the Ethereum version on other chains. I think that's maximum value accrual. Yeah, that's just one thing I was thinking about.
You create a DragonX equivalent by doing that, but you burn DragonX in the process, so there's no net inflation. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the cool part. Half gets burned, half gets used to buy and burn the other token. So you create your own arbitrage, and then you essentially build on the arbitrage version of DragonX. And as you do that, because you don't dissuade the DragonX holder by doing that, they get one-to-one always, at all times. So that you don't dissuade them by coming in. And then every time it goes below peg, so let's say the DragonX equivalent of the Omnichain version is trading at 0.8 per one DragonX, you're essentially getting DragonX at a discount. So like, there's also a big psychological factor to that, where it's going to be hard to break peg, because people are just going to be like, this is a fucking amazing deal, I'm picking this up. So like, there's a lot of like, because if you just build an arbitrage token, you get the issue that it's just an arbitrage token. There's no reason to hold it, which is why, because I had a build for an arbitrage token that was solely built with the purpose to arbitrage. But then I ended up coming to the conclusion, yes, it works for a little bit until the supply overhang and the market cap is too big where the buy and burn makes no more difference. So the arbitrage token needs to have a purpose, which is why I essentially turned X28 into that arbitrage, because then it has a reason to exist and a reason for people to buy it, because it's going to have utility all over the place, similar to TitanX.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that. I think that's a good idea. And we give more utility to it with a farm. I was kind of thinking maybe of a mining protocol. But I mean, there are quite a few mining protocols, but it could be cool to have like a bridge to mine kind of protocol. You know, sorry, mine to bridge. Like if people want to bridge over, they can basically mine on one chain and they get the token on the other chain, plus like a new token, or you could have you could basically give up your Ethereum token to mine another token and decide what the destination chain is for it. You know, and then you could arrive at whatever farm has good APY or whatever on any chain.
Yeah, I think the only issue with that is the time delay in between.
Yep.
Because I think you get all the benefits by making it an instant orb. Because the mining protocol exists to burn DragonX supply. But because you can get it more instant. So let's say, for example, you burn your DragonX, or I call it transforming. So you transform your TitanX into X28. So you would transform your DragonX into something else. You will get it instantly, and then you can still have the same effect. With arbitrage, like, hey, I'm arbitraging this on Ethereum, but give it to me on Base, and then you can go into the farms on Base. I think that will get way more adoption.
Yeah, you're not creating a new buy and burn, but you're also not creating new inflation. So,
well, you're kind of creating a new buy and burn. So the way X28 works is if 100 billion TitanX comes in, 50 billion TitanX gets burned. The other 50 billion buys and burns X28 through TitanX X28. So the process itself creates the arbitrage without any other protocols built on top. But then a kill shot is Shogun being built on it and also burning it. So I think something like that could be a sick setup, especially on a hyperdeflationary token.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we would do our own spin on that and do a straight 1-to-1 with no buy and burn, because then you are really eliminating any equivalence. Like, because you could trade back your X28 for TitanX then. I mean, like you are creating additional effectively supply. Sorry, you're keeping 50% of that TitanX, which could hit the market, right? So you're inflating slightly the supply.
Yeah, I've thought about making it 100% buy and burn, but then the issue is it's harder to keep the peg. That's the big issue, because then it's harder for it to recover. Because if people see a certain amount on the buy and burn, the peg recovers quicker, and by the peg recovering, any additional buy pressure is instant arbitrage. So I think by having a buy and burn, you create more arbitrage, which at the end of the day burns more supply. Yeah, because you also create this very interesting dynamic, because with the X28, 50% of it buys and burns. And anytime it goes above 1-to-1, it creates that arbitrage, so people will sell it down, even if it's a 2% profit.
Yep.
So it's essentially buying at 1-to-1. So even if 1 trillion X28 gets created, effectively 500 billion gets burned, which then increases the effect of the protocols built on top of it.
I wonder if you could help that arb by like having a farm on another chain. So you have like a farm on 2 chains, and then there's pretty thick liquidity, so it would be kind of hard to move it, and then people could arb between the two pairs.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I wonder if there's anything to borrow from like Liquidity or any of these stablecoin forks in terms of like stabilizing the ratio between 2 assets like that, like a liquidation system or something like that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it at all, but could be interesting. Like, you only release the DragonX when the peg is broken, and it kind of liquidates that into the market again and basically brings it back to parity. I don't know. My brain is pretty slow right now, so
yeah.
But like liquidity
because I also thought about that, but then the issue with that is liquidation protocols are built around USD price, so you have to build it around the ratio. which is where it gets weird.
It's probably not possible. I don't know. This is thinking out of my ass, but no, I think that's a good point. That's a good point. Because you would have a delayed system if it was. We wanted to do a mining system that was. Well, we have some ideas, because as I said, we're building a referral platform for Hydra referral system. But the way we're building it is you could plug in other mining protocols. So we could support Hyper, and we could also support another protocol for DragonX as well within that. So I think there might be a place for that either way. If we can create something with good ROI, maybe like a fast mining protocol or a protocol with a massive buy and burn, where you mine a token that's a lot more valuable than the input token or something like that. You get very few tokens and there's a massive buy and burn. So I don't know, there's probably something to play with there, because through other promotional networks, like there's a big appetite for mining that we haven't tapped into. So we want to have some products to basically reach that audience. And we want to really benefit DragonX with that. So
yeah, I think one way you could do it, because I really like that one-to-one on-chain version model, 50% burn, 50% buy and burn. You will build it on top of that. I think that could be a very sick setup. Yeah, because then you force the ARB to break. You add additional buy pressure to it, which forces the prec to break, which burns DragonX supply. Gives a reason for people to hold it, which stops the supply overhang and market cap issue. It's more of an effective lever, because one of the, not issues, but improvements I've identified in build on TitanX is that there's TitanX burners that burn during minting phase and then it just kind of stops and it's a token. So I want something that forever burns all the time, 24/7, never stops, 365. And that was X28. So as people build on X28, they can still have all of the benefits of a cap mint phase, etc., while still burning TitanX supply in the process by forcing the peg to break essentially forever. Which drags up everything. Because X28 is just going to be one-to-one TitanX. So whatever, you still get all the benefits of build on TitanX when it comes to price performance, but you do it while still burning TitanX, even though you can have a capped min phase. That was the main problem I was trying to solve.
Yeah, well, I mean, what if we did that? I've been thinking about like the next farm we launch. Maybe what you could have is you could have the farm buy and burn the token on the other chain, and that would break the peg, and so you could do one-to-one that way. Like another way of breaking the peg would have to have buy, like a third party, like a third application doing buy and burn or something. Because I like that idea of breaking the peg. That's really smart. Crypto Audi King is here.
Yo.
Hey, gentlemen, looking good.
How are you, sir?
Great, man. How about y'all? Y'all doing good?
Good.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Trump is
We'll
winning.
see in about 12 hours. Yeah.
Do we have any data yet on this? Like, is it really
4:44 on the East Coast? So
isn't there
still
like 3 hours something like that left until some of the polls coming through?
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they got some little early. I don't know, because we're at the point now where like exit polling is just a way to manipulate, also. So you know not to believe any exit. Like exit polling is what told you Hillary was going to have a landslide.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
All psyops on psyops on psyops.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours till polls close on East Coast?
Because Mello was saying it, about 2.5 hours till we see some polls come in.
Okay.
You'll start seeing results as they start kind of like talking about them, but they don't close for another
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah. It's gonna be a hot minute.
How many hours until they close?
Let's see.
3 hours, I think it was.
Do polls close?
I need to open a code.
Crypto Steve just voted. Hell yeah.
Nice, man.
Babe, I have to say that there's so much. I love to see it. There's so much mimetic warfare going on. Like me and the boys standing in line, all these like freedom means, etc. Like it's really mobilizing men, because we like that feeling of war, even though we're just drawing, a color on a square. It needs to feel like 100%. War to get men to move. So like that's working like a charm.
Dude, I mean, I've gotten some like this guy Tim. All the big crypto people follow him, and I trolled him pretty good. and he started to respond to me, like poking at him, you know, because I've been talking politics, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I am actually trolling a lot of crypto guys with it, you know, calling them out on being like pussies for basically acting like elections don't matter. Which it's a strategy, it's a marketing strategy, but yeah, it's fun, man. Like I'm gonna miss.
We'll start to get we'll start to get results between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Pacific. So about 2 hours from the first poll starting to close.
I don't get these polls sometimes, man. Like whenever I go into X and all that, it's like Trump is winning by a landslide. But whenever I'm looking at news, it's close, like 1 or 2 percentages off.
Yeah, well, I mean that's exactly what's going on. Depending on how your algo's programmed, it'll tell you two completely different things.
Hey, but there's been a lot of edits because this also happened in, what was it, 2016 when Trump became president. There's a lot of edits showing like all the news clips, etc., saying he's losing, and then he ends up winning in the landslide.
Yeah,
It's like it feels like it's playing out again.
Well,
Yeah.
shit, there's a famous one. Truman won an election where they were already printing the newspaper that he lost.
I
And so
saw
the
that.
morning of the
That was
election,
pretty
he's
dope.
he's like, oh, Dewey wins? Yeah, motherfucker.
I did see
So-
that. That was funny.
Yeah, that's been going on. It will be interesting though to see. I don't know, because like if you ask all of my friends, we think it's a giant Trump wave that's coming across because everybody supports Trump.
Yep.
But yeah, if you ask Dems, they think it's a blue wave that's going to just sweep across the country. If you watch the news, oh, it's neck and neck. Who fucking knows? I don't know. I'll tell you what's wild is my mom is someone that her mom would not let her go to the RFK rally in which he was assassinated. And so my mom has been like that lifelong Kennedy supporter. And when RFK switched to Trump, my mom was like Trump derangement syndrome, 100%. Like if like 2 years ago, if you asked her anything, it was like, I hate that guy. Like she couldn't stand him. And as soon as RFK switched, she was like, wait, what? And then she started listening. She voted for Trump. I was like, I don't know how that just happened. That's insane.
And I'm seeing so many tweets and comments, even on YouTube and everything, where they're like, I'm from Netherlands, or like one of the comments just says South Africa, and I'm voting for Trump. Like, bro, you can't.
I love that.
Trump. You can't even Trump. You can't even vote.
I love these.
Hey, actually, I wouldn't be that sure.
I was telling him I didn't have to have an ID to vote today. I'm in California.
I find that so crazy. I didn't.
All I had to do
is
is say a name. Just say a name. I was like, I almost talked to myself. Say your name, and then and
she's
she's
like,
like,
hey,
okay.
I'm genuine Mo. That's it.
And I probably could have said that. And she turned around and she handed me a ballot. Oh no, she said, do you want a paper ballot or do you want a touch screen? And at first it said touch screen. And I was like, wait, no, I want a paper ballot. And she's like, oh, okay. And she handed me the paper ballot. And then I looked around and I was like, everyone was doing paper ballots. And I asked the poll worker, and I was like, hey, how much of us are doing paper ballots versus touchscreens? And he's like, oh, everyone's doing a paper ballot. It's so annoying. I was like, that's because we don't trust this shit. That's why we're doing paper ballots.
Could you technically go vote somewhere else that same day or something? Or does it get like register with your...
Yeah, they'd probably get you for that.
Do you know that in California now it's illegal for me to make a political meme?
What?
Yeah, they just made that illegal in California like a month ago. And he's like, well, it's part of election interference. He's like, you can say whatever you want.
That's
but
not.
when it comes to
that part of election interference.
Look it up. It's a fucking. I'm in California. It's a law. It's literally all we started talking about for a week. Was this?
Mo, just move out of there, bro. Just get out of California.
I'm trying. Hey, can we just pump some TitanX and you can get me the F out of here?
I knew it.
Let's go.
Dude, they can't get away with that. Don't worry, man. They can't get away.
Oh,
with
I
that.
know. But still, it's wild that they still did that in America. You're like, are you? I mean, right now in America, depending on which politicians you listen to, there are some politicians who think that it is genuinely a good idea to start limiting the First Amendment and the freedom of speech. They're like, no, there's limits to that. And you're like, what? I'm sorry.
Gavin Newsom says, I just signed a bill to make this illegal in the state of California. You can no longer knowingly distribute an ad or other election communications that contain materially deceptive content, including deep fakes. and that's extended out to, I guess, memes as well.
No way, that won't hold up.
How crazy! I know, it won't hold it. But it's fucking crazy. This is step one.
Come
But
to
yeah,
you,
this
Paul.
is the issue because people don't care until it gets really bad. Because like in the UK, there's people actually in prison for posting a meme on social media. That's a real
No
thing.
way. Really?
Oh yeah, no, that's a big
100%.
thing. They were locking up people left and right because they were having protests in their country, and people were starting to do memes about them. And people were getting larger sentences from the memes that they did than the people who were rioting and causing the violence. It was absolutely wild. I've had this conversation a long time where it's like people don't understand that America is the last bastion of freedom that there is, and even what little we have, like you don't understand. You go to Canada, it's not free. If you protest against the government in Canada, the last round of protests they had, they literally turned off people's bank accounts. Just turn them off. That's
I
it.
did see
You
that
don't
on
have a bank
TikTok.
account anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
Try and keep protesting the government if you don't have a bank account. If they turn off your cell phone, if they do that. Like we just said, in England, there is not freedom of speech. I remember when the king was getting coronated after the queen died, and someone was basically like, fuck your mother. In the middle of as he's coming down the road, that dude got pulled out and he's arrested and he went to jail. Because they don't have freedom of speech there. That's not just because they speak English doesn't mean that
Most
there's freedom of
countries
speech.
don't have freedom of speech, man. Most countries
It's,
don't. Like,
people don't get that.
I was in Thailand. I mean, you can't speak out against the king of Thailand at all. You'll go to jail. You'll disappear. It's crazy.
What?
So many countries. I mean, this is what a lot of Americans don't get. Is like, it's actually most countries. People are just slaves in a little box. That's most countries, or most people are penned in, and they don't have opportunity to leave. Basically, So I mean, you can't renounce your Chinese citizenship, for example. You're always a subject of the Chinese Communist Party. There's no, and they actually police in the United States. They actually police Chinese citizens. There's secret police working in the United States to police Chinese citizens.
No, 100%. They had a couple stories about that, how they found like an actual Chinese police station in New York City. Just hidden in an office building. They're making raids on Chinese citizens from that office. Yeah.
Whoa.
So I mean, there's a lot of places like that, like Argentina. You also can't renounce your citizenship. So there's just a lot of people who think that the United States is just like, oh, we're just another country. Like it's like we're really not just another country. The other thing is that I was mentioning before is this thing called harmonization, where basically all of these other jurisdictions that are Western aligned look at our laws and they just copy paste it. They fork our laws because it's easier for them than creating their own laws.
Mm-hmm.
So if the United States goes bad, then all those countries will just flip, right? So it's actually like billions of people that are impacted by this, and not the citizens.
Question: what do y'all think about BRICS? Like they're coming out with their own dollar currency or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're trying. Brazil, China, India, Russia is the main core, and they're trying to make an alternative to the U.S. dollar, and they're trying to make us lose the dominance. Is the idea?
I think that would create chaos. I don't know.
Should we pivot back to projects?
Yeah.
We're swinging back and forth. It's fine. This is an election day, so we're swinging back and forth. But does anyone have any particular comments around TitanX projects they want to make?
I'm impressed with Morpheus.
I was just about to mention Morpheus too.
Yeah, guys, we're just sitting back, observing, trying to do the right thing, and then let the market make its decisions there. That's all. But I do want to tell you guys one story because I was working the polls today. I'm taking it back to politics real quick. This is funny. So I'm passing out sample Republican ballots. So somebody walks up. I'm like, hey, do you want a sample Republican ballot? Just so they know who to vote for, because people don't know. And you hand them the ballot, and I went to hand this purple hair one, and they put their fingers up like this and go hissed at me, and they just kept walking. I couldn't believe I got hissed at, man. I'm like, thank you for voting. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the
That's
hiss.
amazing.
So, yeah.
Purple hair, you could have seen that from a mile away.
Well, you know what? I passed out some ballots to purple hairs they took them. Like, so they're legit. So, yeah, I was blown away. It was like a family. It was like a family of purple hairs, like a family of skunks, but they voted Republican.
Bunch of Smurfs.
Yeah, guys, cool thing, little announcement here. I have a project that officially confirmed that they are building within the TitanX ecosystem in conjunction with Morpheus with some of the initiatives that we've been looking for here lately. Passing that to Eric. So that's a really good thing too. And the cool thing is it's going to be built by Build the Tech, same folks who built Morpheus, which is nice as well.
Fantastic.
Can you repeat that?
Great to hear
What's
about
building?
Husband.
We've got a protocol that's building within TitanX on top of Morpheus and helping everybody out, helping TitanX out, kind of going through the process there, input output stuff. But yeah, excited about that.
Fantastic. Love it.
Heck
Yes,
That's what's
yes.
up.
Very psyched for that. Very
Yep.
psyched. Ninja
I'm going to
Magoose
be
is
running a
Abe Lincoln for
propaganda
Congress.
campaign.
Hey.
I'm going to be running a propaganda campaign to get people to adopt X28.
What's that going to look like?
Incessant tweeting 24/7.
I was gonna say 24/7 streams. You're gonna find out Jake's a robot.
When do those start?
Yeah. Soon.
Soon.
That was so close. I feel soon.
Yeah,
You're
we're running
trying
to the
to
final
hold that
audit.
back.
We're running to the final audit review now. Because X28 is not a complicated protocol. It's primarily infrastructure. Shogun is where it gets intense. But X28 is practically done. Just running through final audit. And then we've already started building Shogun. I'm working on the UI now. And that shouldn't take long. Because that's a lot of what we're already familiar with. Just done differently. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
Shogun
nice.
Because we're about to rage fucking war. Bring it.
Hyperinflation is coming.
Oh yeah. Especially with X28 and Shogun.
I like this idea of one-to-one burning, man.
Man, it's so powerful. I think people are going to realize it with X28, and I would love to see all the core pillars like Volt, Inferno, TitanX, all use that model to go omni-chain, because then we have all of our pairs omni-chain, in which case a bunch of arbitrage, which burns the supply on Ethereum. Like there's a lot, because it's not a complicated model to adopt. Like people are going to be able to see the X28 code. It's not that complicated. Like it's really not that complicated, because most of the code, like 95% of the code, is OFT standard, meaning it's 15 times audited. It comes from Layer 0 themselves. You don't actually have to change the code. You don't have to write your own omni-chain code. Like it's actually relatively simple. You just have to get through some learning hurdles, but once you understand it, it's relatively simple. And then the one-to-one creation, because X28 was complicated before, because we had a relatively advanced auction system. And then we just created a new repo, scrapped everything, went straight to one-to-one. I have a final review on that now. And that auction protocol might still be a thing in the future, but we'll have Shogun, which is basically an improved version of that auction protocol. Shogun is also going to have LP pairs with everything in the ecosystem, very deep LP pair with everything in the ecosystem. Shogun will not be able to go omni-chain because it has attacks on it. That's harder with Layer 0 because you create chain supply issues and you risk the supply getting stuck in the bridge and essentially people losing their tokens. So Shogun is going to be only on Ethereum, and if it goes to other chains, it will be natively launched on that chain. But it will be on Ethereum for quite a while. I don't think it will launch on other chains. But it will be built on X28, which is going to force the arbitrage to break all day, every day, which is going to burn a fuck ton of TitanX supply.
Sweet.
Okay.
Is there a window for this? And the reason I'm not asking for selfish reasons, but asking for people listening that, like, what can people do to help who do want to build with that?
Essentially, replace build on TitanX or build on X28. Follow the exact same ethos, but use X28 as a token, essentially.
Got it.
Because it gets the same adoption as TitanX. People can very easily switch over to X28 because it's one-to-one forever. So if you have 100 billion TitanX, you can always at any point get 100 billion X28. Because literally just 5 seconds.
Oh wait, you can go back and forth? Is that what you're saying?
You can go
or is
back,
it just one way?
but you can create one-to-one.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So it's going to be very easy to get adoption. It's basically TitanX, but omni-chain coded. And with the arbitrage element. So as people create X28, 50% of... So if 100 billion TitanX goes in, 50 billion TitanX gets burned. The other 50 billion gets used to buy and burn X28. which creates the arbitrage in and of itself. And then if you put a protocol on top of that, that's pretty sick. And then if X28 does go below peg, people get an amazing opportunity to get it below peg, because it is going to peg back because of the buy and burn and the protocols and the social consensus of 1-to-1. Yeah, and then I have a lot of ideas.
Where are you taking it first?
Shogun. Oh, Ethereum. So
Okay,
X28
so
launch only
okay.
on Ethereum first, and then we can have the ability to roll out to all other chains later on. So it'll probably be on Ethereum only for a week or two, and then start linking other chains one by one, Base, Arbitrum, etc., and start slowly going out, because you want to get X28 adopted first without over confusing people.
So you're setting. So are there particular dexes on these other chains that you're targeting? Like, I guess, is Uniswap on Base or no?
Yeah.
Uniswap is on Base.
So you'd set pools up there for this?
Very likely. Whatever dex has the biggest volume, because X28 is just a token, so you can create whatever pool you want on whatever dex.
Yeah.
So I like Uniswap. Like Uniswap supports Ethereum, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, but on Smart Chain, Blast, Avalanche, ZK Sync, Celo, World Chain, and Zora Network. But it supports a bunch of chains. But we'll see. It depends on whatever dex has the adoption on that chain.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. So on, let's see here, on Base, they've got Aerodrome. Do we know anything about that?
I've
Got
got
1.18 billion of TVL there. Uniswap has about 212 million of TVL. I've not ever heard of Aerodrome.
I ain't never heard of that one either.
It's a I don't know that much about it, but when I was on Base, some of the guys were playing with it. It's a giant liquidity web. It's paired with almost everything on Base.
Got it.
Yeah, Aerodrome on Base has 600 million volume, and Uniswap has 360 million.
Yeah.
So it looks like Aerodrome is a big one on Base.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious if there would be any reason for us to be able to follow with our aggregator to Base. I guess there might be for projects that are looking to get into X28 potentially. It might just be better routing across these, but there's not tons of liquidity sources on Base yet. So, that's a consideration here. Very interesting.
We're probably going to bring farms cross chain, so it might be easier to tie into Uniswap.
Got it.
That's a good point.
Now V4, if I'm not mistaken, Uniswap V4 has they're rolling out cross chain compatibility as well. I think I saw some of those updates recently.
Yeah, but Uniswap V4 is 50-50. Because with V4 hooks, you can essentially...
it's 50-50 LP?
No, it's... What I'm trying to say is with Uniswap V4, it's 50-50 when it comes to the crypto vetoes. Because with the hooks, you can essentially enforce KYC on swaps.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that idea. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I like V3, V2. That works just fine. Like after V2, there's really no... Because I can understand why hooks are an interesting thing, but it's primarily for MEV. That hooks exist. MEV and mandatory KYC. So I like V3 and V2.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I guess most of the cool things have happened up until V3. After that, it's icing on the cake, I guess, for different reasons, different people. V4 moving forward. Cool. What other chains here?
Any idea about when V1 is going to be activated?
Yeah, you got to hand to him.
That's the thing. It needs to be game theory active. Because if everybody knows, everybody can prepare. So that's the game theory there. So you never know. That's part of the game.
Huh. Interesting.
Binance Smart Chain, EVM, I guess, Arbitrum, Polygon Avalanche, Thorchain.
Base is the biggest L2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, probably go there first then.
Sweet.
Yeah,
and guys, in chat, if you ever want to look up some cool stuff, and I take this for granted, but you can go to defilama.com. You can get so much information about all sorts of chains. There's probably other cool places too, but check out DeFiLlama.com.
DeFi Llama is amazing.
Yep.
Make sure it's the right website too, by the way.
Yeah. DeFiLlama.
Very important.
Well, good stuff. That's exciting. Looking forward to it. 2025 should be quite interesting, folks. And then we're going to get a sneak peek into what's going to be happening after tonight. We get some more information. What 5 hours? 3 to 5 hours. We get some results coming in.
Yes, like 3 hours. Need to check. I have it pulled up.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Actually, 1
Vibes
hour,
are high.
3 minutes.
Let's do it.
Joe Rogan game theoried the shit out of this and put the endorsement in at the 12th hour. So he could have unbiased conversations up until this point, I guess. And he puts his endorsement in. That was huge.
Yeah, the JD Vance interview. Actually, I didn't hear a lot of people talk about that, but that was a good one.
I was actually I don't fawn over that guy. I don't fawn over Trump. Like when he talks, I listen to him. But there's something different with Joe Rogan, dude. He's got a friggin' talent. He pulls interesting stuff out, and I was just like locked in. At one point, I like took a step back from myself. I'm like, why am I concentrating so much right now? I never do that. But he was just asking good questions, and Trump was talking. You know, he's pretty open about everything. I was quite interested in when Trump was talking about his downfalls. You know, initially being president, coming to the White House and having to make all these selections, and then like talking about where he screwed up, how he could have done better, the snakes in the grass, like the good people, like how everything shook out. And he's talking about John Bolton. He was like, John Bolton's batshit crazy, but if I bring him into a room with world leaders, they see him behind me and they're like, oh shit, it's that guy. So I love it. I loved it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, cool insight. Cool. He's very open about that. It actually surprised me. Does it surprise me though? We're talking about Donald J. Trump here, so no, it doesn't surprise me actually.
Yeah, I was watching both interviews. So I watched the Elon Musk one and the Trump one. Man, I just like watching these interviews because there's so much to learn. I look at them as like a masterclass on world leadership. Elon is massively interesting. I love Elon because he's literally the pinnacle of human innovation. This is so crazy. He's one of the top 2 Americans in the entire world in Diablo.
In Diablo?
Yeah.
Wait,
seriously?
What?
Dude, he
$1 billion
posted every now and then.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like this.
I see him play. Yeah.
Yeah, he's top 20 in the world, and there's only 2
I never
Americans
knew that.
top
That's
20.
actually pretty cool. The more you know, huh?
Well, because
Right?
he's
And
got a
the reason
brain.
he does it
True.
He's
Yeah,
got
and
a
the
brain
reason
on his
he does it
shoulders.
is because he's a little bit on the spectrum. So the only way he focuses is through heavy stimulation and very, very fast action. So it's like his form of meditation is like gaming for half an hour to an hour. And then he makes it productive by streaming on X. So he actually turns it into something productive, and it's not some basement dwelling activity. So he actually takes it on pretty smart.
Yeah, did you see it when he downloaded Ableton and created a techno track and shared that out?
What?
No, I didn't see that. But Elon
Yeah,
Musk is such a goddamn inspiration, because even with so he built a massive AI supercluster that everybody estimated that
I
would
did
take
see that.
years,
Yeah.
and he did it in a couple weeks. It was anywhere between a couple weeks and 9 days, and everybody's like, "How the fuck did you pull that off?"
Mm-hmm.
He's just
The
massive
NVIDIA
at it.
guy said it would take years. Like the head of NVIDIA
Yeah.
was like, it'll take years to do that.
While running that many billion-dollar
Right.
world-changing companies.
Right.
People would
Right.
literally self-implode with one.
Yeah.
Let alone a couple. Shooting rockets into space, bringing them back before NASA even could do
That
it.
bad
or
boy
even get
landed on
remotely close to it.
The first try too. That was epic.
It's got to be so hard for these reporters and these leftists to trash him. It becomes
That's-
more and more difficult the cooler shit he like executes on.
Yep.
So
Man.
difficult.
I remember seeing that rocket land, and I just felt this like feeling of goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, that's possible. A human did that. Not the
Mhm.
government, a human. A
Like,
dude did that.
That,
Well,
that
even
one was
Trump.
wild. But
The
first one,
calculations behind that.
when the two boosters came down the very first time, that was wild. That these two boosters launched something into space and then they just both
Mhm.
split off and came back and then just landed. And if you see the videos, like they were landing them out on drone ships out in the ocean for a while. And only when they perfected that did they start bringing them back to the pad. So it's landing on a floating drone ship. If it can get that right, like, all right, we got it. And now, you have boosters that have gone into space 20 plus times. Like, that's insane.
Okay, let's talk about some of the shit he did in recently. So he's launching, I think it was Cybercabs, which is fully autonomous taxi fleet. He's launching humanoid robots
Mhm.
with AI. He's shooting rockets into space and bringing them back in one piece, something that no government in the world has ever been able to do. He's
Neuralink.
top 20 player, top 2 American in the world in Diablo. What can this guy not do? He bought Twitter,
And
turned it
he's
into a free
Neuralink,
speech
too.
platform.
Buying
is
Twitter was the
essentially
most
finding-
clutch move, though. It was
Insane.
amazing.
Insane.
He's about to
12
possibly
children.
trim the fat off the American governmental budget if he gets in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was
Just as
awesome
a
how he baited
sideshow.
the Twitter executive team into going into discovery, so he could find out what was really happening and forcing the courts to freeze all movement, and then he could really see what was happening under the hood before he got it, and then he used that to expose what was happening between Twitter and the United States government. I thought that was just brilliant, and probably credit goes to his counsel as well, but that was huge. Mike Benz, if you guys don't follow him, you probably do. There's a lot of stuff there about this.
That guy needs a security detail, man. This
I don't know how he's still
oh
alive,
my
Eric.
gosh.
How's he still
I know.
alive?
It's crazy, man. It's really.
How did they let him
fascinating.
live?
It's really amazing, the stuff that's going on. That he's party to. It's cool. If you don't know,
It's
Mike
one of
Benz,
those things where his truthfulness and his public attention at this point is his insurance policy.
Yeah,
Because if he goes
yeah.
missing, they know where to look. Like they know who to point fingers at. So, very interesting.
But yeah, that is a fascinating guy because he just has so much inside information about how the intelligence agencies work. And he's just saying it. He's saying it straight up,
And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you can break into a good story and you can expose that story to the world, but because you did that, now you're getting so many different information data points coming from so many directions with people that want you to present what they found. So it's a parabolic curve of information delivery at that point because you put yourself on the map. And he's been putting out craziness, man. Absolute craziness.
Yeah, whenever I look at Elon, like whenever I feel like, oh, I'm too busy, I'm like, am I Elon busy? Okay, stop bitching, get to work.
Yeah, that wallpaper. What have you done today?
Oh yeah, that text message. I think that's such a good wallpaper. I love that one. Like Elon Musk message. What have you done this week? That's such a good wallpaper.
I saw another good post that said, Elon's genius because he just figured out he could buy the government's Death Star at 80% completion. Because if you think, what would Twitter have been if it was completely and fully in the hands of the left? Good Lord.
Yeah.
It literally would have been the Death Star on free speech.
All right, so I'll
They
tell you
just
what's
bought it.
the issue is here's the issue. This is gonna be huge. This is gonna be a problem. If Elon really is given that cabinet position and he goes into the US government and starts taking a machete to the bamboo sticks of government bureaucracy, it's going to cause an absolute freak out because that taxpayer money going to these bureaucracies is it's such a source of government control that if they start losing that, they're going to go wild, dude. I mean, deep state sort of stuff, like all that stuff is going to come to a head. If he does what he did with Twitter, and how many people did they have on payroll, and he cut it by 70%? What's he going to do to the United States government, dude? And then what are the unions going to do in response? And what are dude, that's going to be a showdown. It'd be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, but what if it sparks like a new economic boom with all that waste that is gets?
Oh, no doubt it will. No doubt it will. Here's my hope for Donald Trump. Here's one of my two biggest issues here is don't screw with the kids. don't screw like unborn children. Don't screw with unborn children, and then don't do the the trans stuff to kids who can't make their decisions. That's important to me. But then the other huge, big, important thing to me is like, how come everybody has blinders on about this 30 trillion in debt that is just going crazy? They continue to spend. My hope is that Donald Trump actually looks at this, puts a dent into it. And you saw kind of a window of his thought process with regards to, he was reading, who is it, McKinley? And McKinley used tariffs to significantly increase GDP and decrease debt in America back then. And it sounds like Trump is pointing towards that direction now. So I hope he just goes out with a bang. He doesn't have to get reelected. He can't get reelected. And I just hope he goes just scorched earth on all of this stuff.
Crypto Addy King says he hopes that Trump invests in X28 to pay off the nation's debt.
That would be good.
Just a little
That'd be
long,
pretty decent.
something small.
I mean, good. Okay, just what you were saying about the debt. I mean, I don't even remember what the number is, but how much of a percentage of the U.S. budget right now each year is dedicated to servicing that debt and the interest payments? That's a large amount.
I think it's 30%.
30. That's the first
Yeah.
number that came in my mind.
30% of the annual budget is used to just pay off the interest payment
Interest.
on the debt we have in the first place.
Yeah.
Bro, fix this shit.
And think about when the Federal Reserve screws up our monetary system and the interest rates climb. That means we're paying more. It's not static. It's dynamic.
Yeah, that's dynamic.
That's a very good point.
Which is why they, Eric was talking about that yesterday, or day before, which is why they want to decrease interest rates as soon as possible, because this is just not sustainable. You can't keep interest rates this high and pay this debt, and be financially buoyant, economically buoyant, like we are now. Anyway, we've got the machine, we've got the ability to do it. It's just got to be. It's got to be tuned up. It's got to be fixed. It's got to be redirected. We need somebody to do that, and somebody that's serious, that has political testicular fortitude to make these decisions and not worry about what's going to happen, whether or not they're going to be reelected. You just got to have somebody in there that's just like a sacrificial lamb that has the power to go in and just chop this all down. And at least maybe we gain back a couple decades before it gets really, really bad. But yeah, that's what we need.
I think the earliest polls are closing at 7
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern. It's been a couple hours.
Yeah. 1 hour,
6
41 minutes.
p.m. is when some of the districts start closing in certain states. And then the states start closing from 7 p.m. on.
Yeah. And then PST. So they start closing around 9 Pacific polls.
All that
think
matters
we
is
actually
that-
actually benefit more. We probably benefit
is,
more from Chinese debt than the Chinese owning our debt than we do. Sorry, than they do, because they are holding the liability. Like they're holding it's a liability on their balance sheet in a sense. If that goes bad, if America's debts go bad, then they lose trillions of dollars.
So
That's one
we
bad
tanked the
thing.
American economy so that China defaults on their loans. They're like, we found a way to win. We got it. We're all broke, but at least they can't cash in those loans.
Yeah. Guys, I think I'm gonna head off. Can I leave the stream
Alright, I'll
open?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you can transfer ownership or not.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Do you see leave studio or
I see Leave
And-
Studio. Should I try it?
No, if you leave
yeah.
studio, you will cut the stream for sure.
Yeah.
you sure?
You can leave the
Because it's streaming on our end.
stage. Pull yourself off the stage,
Let me try that.
and then when we leave, it'll stay recording and stay streaming while we're going, or once we sign off.
He'll be in the background.
He'll just have this open-ended stream going with the black background. Anyway, I gotta actually leave in a little bit too.
It's a big day.
Same here.
It's a very big day. I will definitely hop back on a little bit later today when things start actually happening.
I know, right? That would actually be a really interesting stream to be doing while everything's going live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts heating up around 9:30 or 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's where the heat starts at 9 p.m.
Yeah. Yep. And the melt. I just want to see people crying on CNN. That's all.
I
I want to see.
saw that post you made of the compilation of everyone freaking out.
I
hope this
can't
is
wait.
tomorrow. Yeah. 100%.
Please.
How much does Donald Trump want to buy? I can't remember if he had an X amount per day buy or X amount of Bitcoin per day.
I didn't see that article.
I remember seeing an article.
I remember
saying
him
that.
saying it. I don't remember what the amount was, but
Yeah,
I
I'm trying to look for it, but I just cannot
Treat-
find it.
anything like that as a campaign promise.
What was wild, I went to Mar-a-Lago in August and at the Trump dinner. And I was actually blown away at how well he could communicate with the crowd what he knew about cryptocurrency.
That surprised me too. I was so proud of him.
Yeah. So he was in this was when he was he's being prosecuted in New York. He had to be back in New York every single night. So he flew down to Florida for this dinner, made a speech, and then flew back to New York before midnight so he didn't get put in jail. Okay. But on the way from New York to Florida and then back, he had the founder and the CTO of Polygon on the aircraft with him.
Whoa.
And
Ooh.
yeah, and he gave them tons and tons of praise down in Mar-a-Lago publicly in this and that. But yeah, he was talking intelligently about NFTs. It wasn't just like surface level stuff. He was talking about the Ethereum, and he was recalling the Ethereum price on back in November 10th or some abstract date. So it signaled to me that it wasn't just bullshit at that point. That was my biggest concern. He's really into this. And
That's cool.
mind you, he has done 3 or 4 mints of these NFTs that have raised him millions and millions and millions of dollars for his campaign. So in a time where he was probably a little cash strapped because they were just trying to clamp him down in New York, that probably helped out at least a little bit, filled in the gaps a little bit for him. So he's indebted to the crypto community, and he said so. And it was neat to see the people in that room. Like, I remember this from my childhood when people were like actually patriotic and happy about their country. I hadn't really seen that until I got into that room with all those crypto people. And that feeling was there, and he recognized it. And he said, I haven't seen this in many, many places that I've gone to. So, yeah, I think that he recognizes the power of it. It's not just BS. And I think he'll move it forward. I really do. And I think Gensler will be gone within the first 60 days for sure. Maybe 30 days.
I think all that, but I don't think necessarily like, oh, how much is he going to buy a day? Who knows? We'll see.
Don't know. It scares me though, because there are bad people in his ear too with regards to crypto. There's ulterior motives, especially Bitcoiners. There's a lot of those weirdos floating around. So hopefully he's got somebody good in his ear there.
It's awesome
That's
though
a
that he's
lot
just
of
open
Bitcoin.
to learn about that all.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask anyone on the other side about crypto and try and get them to be as articulate as he is about that.
No, they have no clue. No freaking clue. But he does update his worldviews, I guess. Maybe it is. Maybe he's trying to get elected, but he trashed Bitcoin publicly on Twitter in what, 2019, 2020 or something.
I think so.
But he came back around to it.
Man, Bitcoin, because there used to be this website for Bitcoin, Bitcoin obituaries. I love that website. Because all the time Bitcoin was dead.
Is
Like,
it just
example,
holding receipts?
Yeah. I'll try and find that. Man, that's hilarious to see. Bitcoin obituaries.
I mean, isn't talking shit about crypto before you come around like a rite of passage?
Yeah. Oh, here. I think I found it.
4 million BTC? Damn.
Yeah, Bitcoin obituaries, and it goes through all the times
cool.
Bitcoin was declared dead and big people spoke against it, etc., etc. Or like endless timeline since like the start of Bitcoin.
Wow. Bitcoin's a hyped up fraud. Bitcoin will go negative. Bitcoin's a big hustle. The greatest Ponzi of all time.
Oops.
Why
And
Bitcoin
meanwhile,
will fail as a currency.
BlackRock's just throwing money at all these people to FUD Bitcoin so they could snatch it up. That's what's happening.
Why Bitcoin is doomed to fail? Price $100.
Bitcoin has died 477 times.
Yeah.
Bitcoin sees the Grim Reaper, $100.
Wow.
Why Bitcoin is doomed to fail, $93.
Yep.
I love seeing this stuff because it puts it in perspective, you know?
It does.
Golly.
Bitcoin is a hyped up fraud. CNBC 2023.
Bitcoin will crash to
Last
$10 by mid-2014.
That's too
Yeah.
funny.
Bitcoin will crash 99% in 2021.
Dang.
Bitcoin is dead, February 2014.
Can
Oh,
Bitcoin
my
survive 2015? Bro, we're in 2024.
Bitcoin's a gambling device. Warren Buffett.
I mean,
Bitcoin price $5,823.
Technically.
This is too funny.
Cult markets when the bubble bursts. $400, September 2014.
Cool.
Good times.
Gents, I'm going to go. I got work to do. I wanted to hop in and say hello. Keep doing God's work, guys. Thank you so much.
Let everybody.
I'll also
Keep
hop on.
America
We
great,
should probably
sir.
do a stream.
Say
After
what?
the election results come out.
Yeah, let's do it. You want me to fire one up later?
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah,
All right, I'll fire one up. I'll put it in the chat.
sweet.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Let everybody.
God bless the USA. Let's get it.
The damn Skippy. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, Donald Trump.
Love it.
Let's get it.
Crypto Addy King jumps on and immediately finds out, oh, I'm not monetizing this video. Okay, cool. It's just you and me. Oh,
Like the good old
Jesus.
times, buddy.
I don't think people signed up for this now. I don't
Nah.
know.
Were you gonna hop on later tonight though? During the whole
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
get
hop
on too, man.
It's 2:30 p.m. I'm going to make sure the seniors are all good. I'm going to get them for their little post-lunch nap, and then I'm going to start cleaning up.
I'm going to take a nap myself. Shoot, I deserve it.
Bastards. I can't take a nap until the bear market. Come on.
You good.
Sleep
Sounds
when I'm
good,
dead.
buddy.
I'll see you guys later.
Yep, we'll see you guys also here in a few. Make sure you have alerts on.
Hopefully Eric doesn't just keep the stream going on forever.
I know, right?
Hopefully you're awake.
Imagine that
Peace.
revenue. Later.